Hey there, my friend. I'm so happy you're here. Maybe you're walking right now. Or maybe you're just lying down letting the world slow down for a while. Maybe your mind is full of noise. Or maybe today has been quiet and heavy. Whatever it is, I just want to say, you made it. You pressed play. And that means more than you think. Most people don't do that. Most people stay in the comfort of distraction, scrolling, watching, escaping. But not you. You chose growth. You chose to listen. You chose to show up for yourself. And I want you to know that's powerful. Let me ask you something. Have you ever studied for hours, but remembered nothing? You highlight the whole page. You copy notes word for word. You listen to video after video. But then, it's like the information just slips away. And deep inside, maybe a small voice whispers, I'm not smart enough. I always forget. I'm not like those fluent speakers. I'm too old for this. Does that voice sound familiar? If it does, take a breath. Right here, right now. Inhale and slowly exhale, because I want you to hear me clearly. That voice is not telling the truth. That voice is fear, not fact. You are not slow. You are not broken. You're just using study methods that don't match how your brain learns best. Even students at the world's top universities like Harvard struggle with this. They sit in libraries for hours. They underline every word, and they still forget until they learn how to study. Not harder, but smarter. That's what we'll explore together today. We're going to walk through 4 powerful study techniques used by Harvard students. But more importantly, we'll learn how you can use them in your life. Even if you're busy, even if you're tired, even if you think you're not that kind of learner. Because this isn't just about English. This is about you, your growth, your future, your quiet power. I want you to imagine this. Your mind is like a little garden. Every new word, every new idea is a seed. But seeds don't grow because you stare at them. They grow when they're planted, watered, and given time. And that's what this podcast is for. To give you the right tools. To water your learning. To remind you you can grow. You are growing. So, stay with me. Let's take the first step together. So, why are we talking about study techniques today? Why does it even matter how you study? Well, let's be honest. Learning something new, especially a language like English, isn't easy. It takes time, patience, repetition, mistakes. And sometimes, it takes more energy than we expect. But here's the thing, no one tells you. It's not just about working hard. It's about working smart. You could spend 10 hours reading, but if your brain isn't really engaged, if it's just going through the motions, it's like pouring water on dry sand. Nothing stays. Nothing grows. But when you learn how to study, even 1 hour can feel powerful, clear, alive, like planting seeds in rich, healthy soil. I want you to imagine something. Imagine you're trying to fill a glass with water. You keep pouring and pouring, but the glass has a hole at the bottom. No matter how much you add, it never stays full. That's what studying feels like when we don't use the right techniques. We pour in time, energy, effort, but it leaks out. We forget. We feel frustrated, and we begin to doubt ourselves. But guess what? Fixing the hole, learning how to study, changes everything. That's what today's episode is about. Not about being perfect. Not about doing what smart people do, but about understanding your brain, loving your mind, and giving yourself a better way to grow. These techniques, the ones used by Harvard students, they're not magic. They're not reserved for geniuses. They're simple, clear, powerful, and they're for you. You see, your brain is not a robot. It's more like a rhythm. It learns through patterns, through emotion, through curiosity, through stories. And when we study in a way that respects that rhythm, suddenly learning becomes lighter. It becomes joyful. And more than that, it becomes real. So today isn't just about Harvard. It's about helping you stop wasting time and start planting your seeds where they'll actually grow. Because English is not just a subject. It's a bridge to understanding people, to traveling the world, to feeling confident when you speak, to dreaming bigger. And if you've been walking on that bridge and feeling stuck, then maybe it's not your fault. Maybe it's the method. And that we can change. Stay with me. In the next part, we'll talk about the most common mistakes people make when they try to study and why those mistakes are so easy to fall into. You might recognize some of them, and that's okay, because awareness is the first step to change. Ready? Let's walk there together. Let's take a breath together. Inhale and slowly exhale. Now I want to talk about something real, something human. The mistakes we all make when we study, especially when we're trying so hard to do it right. Maybe you've said this to yourself before. I need to reread this 5 times, or I won't remember. Or maybe if I highlight every word, it'll stay in my head. Or I'll watch 5 videos in a row, and somehow it'll stick. And of course, the classic, I'll just wait for motivation to come back. If any of those sound familiar, you're not alone. So, let's look at a few common struggles. Not with shame, but with kindness. Because once we name them, we can change them. The first mistake, passive studying. That's when we read a book, or watch a video, or listen to something, but we're not really involved. We're just absorbing, like a sponge. And sure, some things might stay for a little while, but without action, without using the knowledge, it fades. It's like watching someone swim and thinking you've learned how to do it. But when you jump in the water, you freeze. The second mistake, trying to do too much at once. We sit down with big goals. I'll study 3 hours today. But after 30 minutes, we're tired. Our brain is full. Our back starts to hurt. And we start to feel like a failure. Not because we didn't try, but because we tried to run a marathon without warming up. The third mistake, studying only when we feel motivated. Motivation. That magical feeling. We love it. But the truth is, motivation is like the weather. Some days it's sunny. Some days it rains. If we only go outside on sunny days, we miss half of life. Same with learning. The fourth mistake, thinking repetition is enough. I'll just repeat it again and again. But if you're repeating without thinking, without connecting ideas, it becomes noise, like hearing the same word over and over until it loses meaning. The key is how you repeat, not just how much. And here's the fifth mistake, the sneakiest one, comparing yourself to others. You see someone on Instagram speaking perfect English, and you feel small. You hear someone say they studied for 5 hours today, and suddenly your 30 minutes feels worthless. But that's a lie. Your journey is your own. Maybe they've been walking for years. Maybe they're not showing the hard parts. Maybe, just maybe, they struggle too. We all do. I know these mistakes, not because I read them in a book, but because I've made them too, again and again. And I still do sometimes. But now I know how to notice them. And that changes everything. So I want you to do something for me. Put your hand on your heart. Really. Try it. Feel the warmth there. Now say this gently in your mind or out loud. I'm learning. I'm growing. And I forgive myself for the mistakes I've made. Beautiful. In the next part, I'm going to tell you a story about someone who made a lot of these mistakes, but who found a new path, a simple shift, a better way. You might hear their story and think, that sounds like me, and maybe that's the point. Let's keep going. Let me tell you a story. It's not about a genius. It's not about a top student or a perfect person. It's about someone a little like you. Her name was Anna. She was 28 years old, working full-time in a small cafe. She lived in a busy city, sharing a tiny apartment with her younger sister. Life wasn't easy, but Anna had a dream to go back to school and study business. But to do that, she needed English. She had tried before: apps, YouTube, grammar books, late-night study sessions after her shift. Every time, she quit. Why? Because she thought something was wrong with her brain. Words came in and disappeared. Grammar confused her, and the more she tried, the more frustrated she felt. I'm just not smart, she whispered to herself one night, sitting on her bed, holding a notebook filled with colorful highlights, but an empty heart. Then one day, something changed. She met an old customer at the cafe, Mr. Bernard, a kind man with silver hair and a warm smile. He always carried books. One afternoon, he noticed Anna writing English words on a napkin. You like learning? He asked gently. She laughed shyly. I try, but I always forget everything. Mr. Bernard looked at her, then said something she'd never forget. Maybe it's not you. Maybe it's the way you're learning. He sat down and shared a story. I used to teach at a university, he said, and I saw the same thing every year. Brilliant students confused, tired, burned out, until they discovered one thing that the brain learns best through action, emotion, and connection. He pulled out a small notebook. Inside were 4 simple study techniques. Anna looked at the list and smiled. They weren't complicated. In fact, they felt almost too easy. Try them, he said. Not all at once, just one. For 1 week, let your brain feel curious again. That night, Anna started with the first technique. It was active recall, a way of testing herself gently instead of rereading her notes. She closed her notebook and asked herself, what did I just learn? She didn't get everything right, but something felt different. She was thinking, not just memorizing. A few days later, she added the second technique, then the third. Weeks passed. Her English began to stick. She started smiling while learning, and on hard days, she remembered Mr. Bernard's words, let your brain feel curious again. 6 months later, Anna took her English placement test. She didn't get a perfect score, but she got something better: confidence. She looked at her results and whispered, I'm not stuck. I'm just starting now. Anna studies a little each day, not because she has to, but because it feels like watering a garden. Slow, gentle, but full of life. Her story isn't magical. It's real. And maybe it reminds you of yourself, because you're not lazy. You're not failing. You're just learning to study in a new way. And that's where we're going next. In the next part, I'll guide you through a few powerful mindset shifts, little changes in how you think, that can create big changes in how you learn. Let's go there together. Let's pause for a moment. You've come this far, and that means something. Maybe you've been listening while walking, maybe while cooking, or just sitting quietly. Wherever you are, I want to say this out loud for you. You are growing. Even if it feels slow, even if you don't see it yet, you are becoming something new. Now let's talk about the mind, because sometimes the way we study isn't the problem. It's the way we speak to ourselves, the quiet voice inside, the one that whispers, "You're not smart enough. You're always behind. You'll never catch up." That voice, it doesn't tell the truth. It tells fear. So let's shift that voice gently, not with force, not with fake positivity, but with kindness. First, let's take that thought, "I'm not good enough," and breathe into it. What if we changed it to "I'm learning"? And learning is messy. Can you feel the difference? "I'm not good enough" is a door that closes. "I'm learning" is a window that opens. Here's another one. "I'm so far behind everyone else." But the truth, there's no race, no finish line, no one path. So let's shift it to "I'm on my journey, at my pace," and that's enough. Sometimes we compare our beginning to someone else's middle. We scroll through perfect videos, perfect accents, perfect smiles, and we forget what's real. We forget that behind every fluent speaker, there were years of mistakes, tears, frustration, and small wins no one ever saw. And what about failure? Maybe you tried to study this week and it didn't go well. Maybe you skipped a day or forgot everything you reviewed, and now you feel guilty. Let's pause there. What if failure wasn't the end? What if it was part of the path? You are not a robot. You are a garden. And sometimes growth looks like silence, like stillness, like starting again and again and again. Let's try one more shift from "I can't do this" to "I can't do this yet." That tiny word yet changes everything. "I can't do this" says stop. "I can't do this yet" says keep going, because you will, bit by bit, day by day. Your brain is not broken. Your pace is not wrong. You are not too late. You are right on time for your own life. In the next part, I'm going to give you something special. 5 simple, powerful study techniques that Harvard students use and that you can start using today. They don't need money or perfect English or hours of your time. Just one small step and an open heart. Let's go. All right. Now we've arrived at something you can use today, not tomorrow, not when life is perfect, but today, even if you're tired, busy, or feeling low. These are 5 study techniques used by many Harvard students, and more importantly, by people who learn deeply, not just quickly. And the best part, you don't need to be a genius to try them. You just need a quiet moment and a little curiosity. Let's begin. Technique 1. Active recall. This is one of the most powerful ways to study. It simply means don't just look at the answer. Ask yourself the question and try to answer from memory. Let's say you're learning new vocabulary. Instead of reading the word 5 times, close the book, look away, and ask, what was that word again? What did it mean? Even if you get it wrong, your brain is working harder, and that's a good thing. Try this today. After learning something, pause and ask, what do I remember right now? Not to be perfect, but to be active. Technique 2. Spaced repetition. Here's the secret: the brain forgets fast, but it also remembers better when it sees the same thing again and again over time. So instead of cramming one topic in one day, review it today, then again tomorrow, then in 3 days, then in a week, even just 5 minutes each time. And your memory will grow roots. You can use apps, flashcards, or even your own notebook to do this. The key is review less each time, but more often. Technique 3. The Feynman Technique. Named after a famous scientist, this method is simple but deep. After you learn something, explain it out loud, as if you're teaching a 5-year-old. No big words, no fancy terms. Just say it clearly, like a story. For example, if you learn a grammar rule today, try to explain it to yourself out loud while washing dishes. Use simple words. Draw it. Say it again tomorrow. When you can explain something clearly, you understand it deeply. Technique 4. Pomodoro Method. This one helps when you feel tired, distracted, or unmotivated. Here's how it works. Study for 25 minutes. Then take a 5-minute break. Repeat. After 4 rounds, take a longer break. Why does it work? Because the brain likes short focus. It feels safe. 25 minutes doesn't feel scary, and knowing there's a break coming helps you start. You can even do 15 minutes if 25 feels too much. Set a timer. Begin gently. Technique 5. Interleaving. Don't study one topic for too long. Mix things up. Instead of 1 hour of just vocabulary, try 20 minutes of vocab, 20 minutes of listening, 20 minutes of speaking. Or mix grammar with writing, reading with journaling. This keeps your brain alert, like changing the path on a walk. New views, new energy. You don't have to use all these techniques at once. In fact, don't. Try one. Just one. Maybe today you try active recall. Tomorrow, spaced repetition. Slow and steady. These are not rules. They're tools. Use them with kindness, with curiosity, with trust in your process. Because studying doesn't have to feel like punishment. It can feel like breathing, like returning to yourself. In the next part, we'll talk about something all of us go through. Those hard days, the slow days, the I don't want to do anything days. I'll walk you through them, and I promise you're not alone. Let's keep going. Some days, everything flows. You feel strong, focused. You study for 30 minutes, maybe even an hour, and the words, they stay. You smile. You feel proud. But then, there are the other days, the days when your body feels heavy, your brain feels foggy. You open your notebook and nothing makes sense. Or maybe you don't even open the notebook. You scroll. You sigh. You tell yourself, what's the point? I want to talk about those days because they matter just as much. Learning is not a straight line. It's more like the weather. Some days are clear. Some are cloudy. Some are storms. And you are not a machine. You are a human being, full of seasons, waves, rhythms. So when you feel tired or lost or bored with learning, that's not failure. That's nature. Let's imagine something together. You're walking through a forest. It's peaceful, green. But suddenly, the path gets muddy. You trip. The sky turns gray. Do you turn around and say, I'll never walk again? No. You take a breath. You slow down. Maybe you sit under a tree. Maybe you take a different trail. But you keep walking. That's what it means to learn with love. So what can you do on the hard days? First, lower the bar. If you plan to study 30 minutes, but you feel drained, do 5 minutes. Just 5. Even reading one sentence, writing one new word counts. It's not about doing a lot. It's about not giving up. Second, change your method. If reading feels boring, try a podcast. If writing feels hard, speak out loud. If you feel lonely, join a group or talk to a friend. Let your brain breathe in a new way. Third, come back to your why. Why did you start learning English? Was it for travel work, love, freedom, confidence? Write it down again. Say it out loud. Let it remind you that this isn't just about words. It's about you. And finally, forgive yourself. If you skip a day, 2 days, a week, you are not behind. You're just human. There's a beautiful quote I love. No flower blooms all year, and yet it still blooms. So do you. Let the quiet days come. Let the slow days teach you patience. And when you feel ready again, return, even gently, even slowly, because you never left the path. You were just resting. In the final part of this episode, I'll share a few last words from my heart and a quote that I hope stays with you, not just for today, but for many days to come. Ready? Let's finish this journey together. You made it all the way here. Through the thoughts, the stories, the truths, and the quiet moments in between. Before anything else, I want to say thank you. Thank you for walking this path with me, for showing up, for listening. Even if your mind wandered, even if you're still unsure, you stayed. And that means everything. Today we talked about something deeper than study tips. Yes, we explored powerful techniques like active recall spaced repetition, the Pomodoro method. But underneath all of it, we talked about you, your effort, your heart, your growth. You are not just learning English. You are learning to trust yourself, to start again, to build a life where your voice matters in any language. Let me remind you of something simple and powerful. Your progress is not measured by how much you remember today. It's measured by how gently you return tomorrow. One more step, one more page, one more try. Even on the days you forget, even on the days you feel slow, your journey is still valid. You are not behind. You are becoming. And now, I want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes. It's from the author James Clear. He writes, "Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become." Think about that. Every time you sit down to learn, even for 5 minutes, every time you choose growth over comfort, every time you speak a word, even with mistakes, you are casting a vote, not for perfection, but for the person you're becoming. And that person is brave, curious, growing, and worth believing in. If today's episode brought you peace or clarity, or even a small smile, come back to it anytime. You don't have to do this alone. This space, this podcast, is always here when you need a little strength, a little light, or just a reminder that you matter. Until next time, keep learning, keep breathing, keep being kind to yourself. This is English in Mind, and I'm proud of you. Take care, my friend. I'll see you again soon.